Hey everybody, today is Tuesday, March 14th, 2023 in sunny San Diego, California, and I'm Captain Perry here with you. If you're new to the channel, on the screen here is a Scow Bow Mini-Cruiser that I'm building. Basically, my mission here is to build a strong, trailerable, 14-foot sailboat that's watertight and custom built to cross oceans. Now, in this video, what I'm going to get started on is frame C1, the most forward frame in the boat, and the port side panel of the boat. So that entails first making a template out of cardboard, and then we'll transfer that onto the PVC foam core that I'm using, which is 1 centimeter thick. This part is particularly exciting to me because we're getting closer to closing up the hull with all her side and deck panels. And a lot of the major work in the cabin is done now. The structural grid is built, those storage panels are in. Really the main thing I need to do in the cabin before I can close it all up is build the rest of the cabin sole hatch panels. And that's what I'll sleep on and sit on, cook on, all that stuff. So I can put on the port side panel now, but before I can put the starboard side panel on, I'll need to make those cabin sole hatches. Anyway, that's for a future video. All right, time for me to get to work. Using 2 big pieces of cardboard, I've started making a template for the side panel of the boat. Luckily, there's this nice ledge down here that I can place the cardboard on and then use masking tape to mark where all the edges are. Now I've got it back here on a long table and I'm slowly cutting it out. A long batten held with some weights allows me to draw on a uniform curve. I know with my limited space, it's hard to get a good look at this template. One cool thing is we can get an idea of how much space we have in these storage compartments. It's kind of cool to see. Next, I simply transfer the template onto my foam board. Okay, the port side panel is all cut out of foam now. And for those of you who watch my episodes about doing the port and starboard chine panels, this should all be pretty familiar. That method worked really great, so I'm just gonna replicate it. The only difference is this one will be a bit wider. This is the inboard side of the port panel. And I've marked on here where 7 centimeter wide strips of 1708 are gonna go on. And that's where this side panel meets the frames. So one here for C2, C3, C3.5, and this is where the butt joint is going to go between these 2 panels, and that'll be 2 layers of 6-ounce cloth, and then another strip for C4. And then actually on the aft end, because if you look at the boat, it's pretty flat back towards the stern, doesn't require much bend. I'm going to fiberglass from between frames 4 and 5 all the way back to the transom. The reason I just do some strips where it meets the frame on this side is so that I can more easily bend it to the shape of the boat. The outboard side of this panel will be fully fiberglassed from the transom all the way up to C2. And then I'll leave that just foam where it has to bend more extremely up to the bow. And back here, I'm going to put an extra layer of 1708, just 12 centimeters wide, a couple inches wide, all the way up to the main bulkhead, C5, back to the transom. And that's because a big old stainless cleat is going to go here. And that'll be for things like tying up to a dock or towing a drogue. So this extra strip of 1708 will just help better distribute the load of that cleat across the hull. All right, I've got good lighting set up and all my fiberglass laid out, ready to fiberglass the inboard side of the boat. Hey, I know that 47% of you are not subscribed. My goal is to get this channel to 10,000 subscribers during this coming summer. I've got a ways to go. Please help me get to that goal. Hit that subscribe button now. Here's the inboard side all done for now. Next, I flip the panel over and route out holes where the cleat bolts will pass through. I set the depth just enough so that I only cut the foam. Now the holes have been filled with thickened epoxy and then covered in a layer of 1708 and 6-ounce cloth. And this took me about an hour and 40 minutes for just this 4-foot section. Well, this is such a big panel, I'm gonna try and divide up some of the work. So I got 1/3 of the panel fiberglassed last night, and I think tonight I'll try and do the other 2/3 up here. But for right now, I think I'm gonna do a little work on the C1 template. That needs to get done before this can actually get fiberglassed onto the side of the hull. Up in the bow here, the middle of frame C1 can be seen here, and up here it was previously installed. So I just have to continue that out here. And that's important because it helps to define the curve of this side panel. PVC foam core is expensive, so I make good use of every scrap piece. I bought 19 sheets of this foam, so I'm very hopeful that I can make it to the end of the build without having to buy any more. With frame C1 curing, it's time to turn my attention to finishing up the fiberglassing of the big side panel. I add one layer of 1708 with a layer of 6-ounce cloth on top. Then peel ply goes on last. Alright, that's the outboard side all fiberglassed. All I got to do is trim the edges and it's ready to install. And now back to frame C1 to remove peel ply, trim the edges, and cut out the access holes.
Sailboat.
Okay, that is my stopping point for frame C1. They're looking pretty good so far. If you've been watching my videos for a long time, you'll know how I'm going to treat this edge. I'm going to add in that rope like you see here, and that makes a nice smooth rounded edge so that you can reach in there without snagging your arm or anything, and it looks good. As always, a big thank you to anyone who's signed up on Patreon. Patreon members get access to a big photo gallery of construction pictures and a step-by-step guide I've been writing about every step I take to build this boat. They get to watch episodes a full day in advance, and they just greatly help this channel, so thank you. Another great way to support the project is with the Amazon wish list. I've been adding a lot of components for the electrical system there lately, so if you'd like to help out in that way, just check the link in the description. I've also got the link in there for the t-shirts I made. If you want to look like these cool guys, head down to the link in the description and get one of those. But hey, if nothing else, leave a comment, hit the like button, and make sure you're subscribed. Thanks for watching. All right, guys, I will see you next time.
$4 make all preparations for getting underway.
Hey, what's your name, buddy?
Home.
How do we get back to your station? I'll have you